This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back to another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, coming at you live from Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale here in South Tulsa. Connor Clark joined by the head women's basketball coach, Sophie Anderson, to kick us off on this beautiful Monday morning in the state of Oklahoma. A little chilly, but a lot of sunlight, which is always great. And I'm excited to talk about another really busy week in hoops. And, of course, conference play is in full swing for both the men's and women's programs. And we'll break it down for you. But, Coach, you guys had a really, really busy week and a really, really busy start to conference play. And you found some success in that stretch, too. I know it was a rough stretch, just kind of opponent-wise, strength of schedule-wise. But overall, I thought you guys fared pretty well and kind of showed the rest of the conference that you can really compete in any game that you play in. And, oh, by the way, you were a little undermanned while doing so at the same time. We'll get into that. But just your overall thoughts of the first 4 games of conference play. You played 2 at home. You played 2 on the road. And, again, I thought your team put up some really good fights throughout.
Right. I agree. I think as a coach, you really can't complain too much about 2-2. You know, I'm extremely excited to be able to get a road win anytime. But then I'm glad that we saw early what number 1 and number 2 look like in our conference. It's important for our girls that they were able to get a taste of that early and know what we need to work on, how far we are or how close we are, and what we need to do to fix it so that when we see them again next time that we're even more prepared. There's a lot of firsts, like we talked about at the beginning of the season. We're experiencing a lot of firsts, like going on the road, playing in that type of environment at South Dakota State, what that looks like, how that feels, who Brooklyn Myers is, like we've been talking about her, but now they really got to see what a well-oiled machine looks like in North Dakota State and South Dakota State, the different styles of basketball against South Dakota. How athletic they are. I mean, it's just been some really good basketball and great experience and great just learning for our whole team. And I think that's just been our kind of MO this year, just learning, getting our feet wet, just kind of seeing what's going out there, going on in our conference, what's going on in just collegiate basketball period at this level. And a lot of times this was their first, and now they know, and we're on to the next. And I think we got a lot of learning experience and notches in our belt, and I think we're ready to go and get prepared for this week.
Yeah, I feel like that's always the advantage of scheduling tough early, and I know we've talked to KB about that. We've talked to you about that.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I don't know if this is necessarily the right way to say it, but kind of shock your team a little bit by throwing the best of the best at them right away. But clearly that has some long-term benefits. And I think we've seen it with your team too, because we talked about how tough the non-con was early, and your ability to have your players see what it's going to look like at the highest level right away. And I think that's paid dividends down the stretch because, of course, you're going to have injuries. Of course, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. But it seems like and I know we've said this over the last few weeks, it seems like just the style of play keeps getting smoother and smoother with every game that goes by.
Well, thank you, first off. And then, our staff has done a really good job just preparing our players and our team mentally with a great game plan to help us be prepared and what we need to work on, different attacks that we need to work on, things that will be open, things that we could hopefully take away as well. So I think we've all grown as a staff. I mean, luckily for our staff, majority of them, we've been in the conference, we kind of know what to expect. But then on the flip side, there's so many new coaches, so many new teams. And it's just a totally different look. Even South Dakota State, they're totally different than they were last year. They're a lot deeper. North Dakota is different. South Dakota is different as well. Everyone's just solid. And then North Dakota State, they've even, a little bit deeper this year. And it just changes when you could play 10 people versus their 7 or 8 that they're used to playing. But and on our side of things, we have grown. We're still kind of figuring out how good we really are, and how close we really can be from knocking off a top team, or recognizing, don't forget you are a top team as well. And I just think they don't really know what that looks like and how valuable and how much of a compliment it was to get voted number 3. But now you have to walk in that. Now you have to own that and have a little bit of, we talk about a little bit of swag when you walk into a
For
building,
sure.
that and knowing how good you are as well. So we're building on that. We're learning, and so much growth has happened, and I can't complain at all about what we've done these past couple of weeks. I'm really excited for them.
It's kind of walking that fine line between cockiness and confident. I'm not saying that your group is cocky whatsoever,
Well,
but you got
we need a little bit of that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got to what you said. You got to walk with a swagger, and
Yeah.
you got to be like, hey, we were voted at this point in in the preseason for a reason,
Right.
and we're playing this well for a reason. And
I mean, but you got to look at Michael Jordan even. Some people can call him arrogant and cocky. Some people, can call him confident. But no matter what, he backed it up.
right,
He walked in and he performed, and that's the level. I mean, it could be on the fine line or you could be over the line. Be cocky, but either way, you have to walk in. But cocky people know they can back it up.
right.
And that's the level of confidence that I really want them to kind of walk with and own that, hey, you walk in because you are that good. You walk in because you have worked your butt off to get to this place. You're prepared. Now go perform, so excited about what they can do in these next couple of weeks.
Well, I think we saw the confidence on full display against South Dakota last Thursday. You guys get an 83-61 win on the road against one of the top teams in the league right now.
Sure.
And you guys do it without Jaylee Oglesby, who's nursing that kind of eye injury. I know she took a shot a couple of weeks ago to the face, and so trying to get over that. So, I mean, there's a big hit right there. You get no Shetler as well in that game because of sickness, and you guys still come out and play really, really good offense, obviously, and even better defense. And, of course, I think the story of the game was Zyla Funchess' play. I mean, 18 and 9. I mean, she was absolutely phenomenal. And I know we talked about a few weeks ago, I think when you guys played Oklahoma Wesleyan, you told me in the postgame that she was like dealing with the flu or something right out of Christmas break. I feel like ever since she got the flu, she's been a completely different Zyla Funchess.
Maybe she's Michael Jordan.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe she's that. But yeah, she was great for us. She came out with a different energy that game, and everyone, if you know Zai, I mean, you love her, and she comes out with this just flair and just a different level of energy, and we're like, man, what's going on with Zai? She's about to have a good game, and she just comes out of that place like a rocket, and she just played well, and she was shooting it well, and sometimes, you take shots when you're playing that way. You're like that you normally don't take.
Like the no, yes.
Yeah,
shots.
exactly. So she knocked down a few, and I was like, okay, yeah, she's feeling it. So I just let her live. And at that moment, you got to let players be players. You got to let players make plays. And Zai did that for us. And not only on the offensive end, she was a big spark for us defensively, getting tips, deflections, and things like that. But I thought our defense was really, really great. I thought our game plan was great, and we went in, we played as a unit. But the defensive side converted to offense for us, which I thought was beautiful. I love to hear that. But it was really great, and she was the head of that. And Ari played well that game. Anna Trusty, which is she's been just a pillar as well. And I think Kaiten, she played well that game too. So like everyone stepped up, and they were like our whole year. Someone different has stepped up to help Jaylee and Anna. And I'm going to throw Gentry in there just as kind of being a constant as well. And someone else comes in and steps up and just becomes that spark. And that's what I love, because this whole year playing crazy 11, 12 players, they're confident. So when their time and their opportunity is given to them, they take advantage of it. And Zai was that one. And then Bella was the one on Saturday that kind of helped us stay in the game. So just excited for what's to come. But I still hoping and looking if we can make that a consistent thing for us.
I think you can absolutely throw Gentry in that conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, she had 8 points, but she also had 3 rebounds and 5 assists. So she was contributing to scoring in other ways. And something I do want to ask you about is being a head coach, and you mentioned when a player's got it going, what's kind of the line between of like you just let them do their thing because obviously they're feeling it, or you keep them within the system? At what point did you know, or at all did you know about Zyla? When she got it going, when was the flip switch? Like, all right, I'm just going to let her do her thing.
When she came down, and I think she hit a pull-up 3. Normally in games past, that's normally been an air ball or, but that sucker was nothing but net. Then
Mhm.
she had another one, and I was like, okay,
Just go. Just do it.
she's gone. But she just was feeling it. She was just, but I knew something was different before the game because I just was in a different mood. She was in a different space, and I mean, she's just an energy bug, and I love that for her, and I'm glad she had a great game. But when you hit two in a row,
Yeah.
yeah, you just let them
So
go.
something's different.
Yeah,
Something's
something's different. And I mean, Gentry had one of those games when we were at Kansas.
Mhm.
And it was just like you were feeling it. She hit two in a row, three in a row, and then five in a row.
Yeah,
And
it's like,
you're
whoa.
just, yeah, you just let them play. And that's what this offense does too. It just kind of opens things up and it just lets players play. But when it dries out, you know that you can always fall back onto, okay, we got someone else coming, something else will be open. And that's the beauty of it, though. That's basketball.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
that's
the
basketball.
rim starts to look a little bit bigger. The ball
Yeah,
starts to feel a little bit smaller, and
absolutely.
that's always a good thing when you're on offense.
Absolutely.
Two things you guys did really, really well in that game is A, rebound the basketball, and then force turnovers. You guys forced 21 turnovers in that game. You mentioned the defense converting into that offensive play. I mean, how big was just the turnover rate that you guys were able to cause, not only in this game, but it's just been a constant all year. You guys cause havoc on the defensive end.
Yeah, I just think they were extremely locked into the game plan and making sure that we executed it. And once you see kind of fruit from your labor, then you're like, okay, man, this is really, really, really working. Let's just keep it up, and that just rolls. But I think we were really active. We were really just aware. We knew that this game was very important going into this stretch with South Dakota and South Dakota State. You needed to come out and play really, really well, whether that was a win or loss, but you needed to play well. And I think they were just active. They were helping each other. We were a unit. The help was helping the help, and everyone, we were able to get tips on the basketball and convert. And once you convert, that just gives you a momentum and an energy level. And then when the coach calls a timeout, that just kind of storms. But I
Right.
think we were laser focused, not too emotional. We just knew that we needed to come in and we needed to execute and perform a job. And I think it was a lot of maturity that game. It's kind of beautiful to see the look in their eyes where it's just so focused. You're still having fun, but you're not emotionally involved in the game to the
Right.
point where, oh, my shot's not falling. You're extremely down. We were able just to keep a constant and focus on the task at hand. And I mean, it just worked out for us defensively and allowed us to create some offense.
Yeah, speaking of defensive numbers, you mentioned Ari Gordon. She had 4 steals in that game, which is a ridiculous number. You guys had 9 as a team. You had 3 players with multiple steals, Isla and Anna, also with 2 steals as well on top of it. And then you guys went to South Dakota State, and of course, I know it didn't go the way you guys wanted, and that's always an extremely difficult place to play up in Brookings. And I mean, the fans are like right on top of you in that arena. They got a ton of fans in that arena every single night. And you mentioned the importance of kind of seeing that environment firsthand. And what do you think that did for your players? And I know it was a rough first quarter, but you guys really bounced back in a big way in that second quarter. And we're honestly keeping it pretty close in that middle 10 minutes that we talked about last week.
Right. First off, hats off to South Dakota State. What a tremendous ball club. They are just well built. I mean, I would have to say they're built for postseason play. They're long, they're athletic. Obviously, they can shoot it. Once you go over those stats, you'll see that. But they can shoot the basketball. But then they have the monster inside. They're just hard to guard. They just do a really, really good job at what they do. And he's deeper than he's been in a long, long time, playing 10 that can really, really shoot the basketball, that are, 2, 3 level scorers. So, I mean, just a great ball club. I walked into that arena and just to see the support that they have in there, it's unbelievable.
It really is.
It's just also unbelievable to see what he's doing at this level. He is a mid-major monster, and he represents mid-major so well in postseason play. I'm sure, a lot of respect for him and what he's done for the mid-major level, but how they operate, how they support, how they just move. It's a different level, and they do things differently. And not so much in awe of what they do, but extreme respect for what they do at South Dakota State within the women's basketball program and the support and funding I'm sure that they have for that program. But it was it was a shock, I think, for our girls. You could tell them, but when you walk in there and you see that crowd, you think, "Oh, is this a men's game? Is this, are we at the conference tournament?" And like that's the beauty of it. And I told them at halftime, no, I told them at the end of the game, don't forget this because you will see this environment again, and it will be
Hmm.
in Sioux Falls.
And
You
it'll
know,
be,
conference
twice
tournament.
as big of an arena as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. But I think that's something that we can take away from South Dakota State and playing there is that it is that environment over
Hmm.
once we get into March. So you shouldn't be surprised again
Right.
because now you know. But I think we learned what it looks like to make shots, to make big shots, and the level of play we have to play at in order to be in the arena of even wanting to beat them.
Hmm.
You can't make mistakes. You have to convert. You have to maximize every opportunity. And when you're on the road, you have to make big shots. You're not going to get the calls. You have to play the game to win every
Hmm.
possession, and every possession matters on both ends of the floor. So, great learning experience. But not only that, like you have to grow from that. You have to take a mental picture of that, and you cannot be surprised in March because that will be what you will see.
Hmm.
So,
You mentioned Bella Edwards earlier, and kind of a coming out party game for her. She had
yeah, for
13
sure.
points and 4 rebounds, shot it well, and hit three threes, and was kind of a spark plug off the bench for your team. Played
Right.
18 minutes, which is higher than what she normally sees on the floor. And again, in an environment like that, too, it's a hard place to go just play in general. It's an even harder place to go play and play well in
Right.
the environment. I think she did just that.
For sure. She stepped up. And then Bella, she's also her own machine. She comes in, and if you look statistically, it doesn't matter when Bella gets in, she's going to knock down at least 1 3. Whether she sat for an hour, she sat for 30 minutes, she gets in right away. It doesn't matter. She's going to come in and do what she does. And I think the tunnel vision that Bella does have on the
Mhm.
offensive end, I think it helped her. She didn't see this big arena. She didn't see all the fans. She saw the rim and she saw the ball in her hands and she saw it going in.
Mhm.
So Bella came in and she did what she does, and we needed that. We needed for her to knock down shots. And I don't know if she was on the scouting report or not, but it allowed us to get some momentum. It allowed us to cut a lead. And I think we were down 20 or so until she came in and knocked down a few shots for us. And that allowed us to go into halftime with a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel and exactly what we needed. But also reminding them, you got to make big shots.
Right.
You got to step up and make big shots. And I don't know if we had any offense up until that point consistently. So she was huge for us.
I still think too, grabbing 37 boards against a team like South Dakota State that has all that size is, still an impressive number, and I think a number that you'll probably take 9 times out of
Yeah,
10
for
against that
sure.
team. So,
For
in
sure.
2 games on the road trip, you guys crashed the glass really, really at a high level. So you closed the book on the 2-game road trip.
Mhm.
Now you come home for two, and obviously it's always nice to be home in conference play. And
Right.
2 games in a row where, I mean, you guys are probably the favorites in both of them.
I
And
sure hope.
and I know that as a coaching staff, you guys don't really pay attention to that type of stuff. But when you flip the page to Kansas City and just the opportunity that's awaits between them and Omaha at home, what sticks out to you? And how crucial is the stretch? Because you come home for two and then you go on the road for three again.
Yeah.
And that features both North Dakota schools that you've seen and then a new opponent in Denver.
Well, yeah, these are, you just have to have the must win mindset and start to prepare for like that do or die mindset you have to have in March. You want that now. So I think that's what we are looking to kind of start to build and to grow on. And you can't say, oh, these are must wins in March. You got to start speaking that now so that when we get to March, you know exactly what I mean about must win. So that's what we've been talking about, having that March Madness, that championship mindset, each game in conference. So that's what we've been building on. So, like, being at home is going to be great, but you have to go and take care of business. These won't be easy opponents, and then no one's going to roll over and give you the game. So you have to go in there and you have to go in and take it. So I think coming off of a loss against South Dakota State, that's going to make us hungry.
Mhm.
And I think we've done really well bouncing back after losses. I think this team has just impressed me more and more each game, how hungrier they get after every loss and how much they come out and execute
Mhm.
after losses. And as coaches, and I'm speaking for my staff, but I'm sure they feel the same way. Like, man, what a privilege we have to coach girls like that, to coach women like that, to that they're still hungry. They still want to fight after a loss. They're pissed off after a loss. And that, I'm going to use this word, pistivity, is going to allow us to allow us to grow and get better, and hopefully roll off a few wins. And that's what you want. You got to get some momentum and some confidence in this conference, and you can't split. If you want to be at the top, you got to go in and you have to take two. You got to go in and take three, take 4 in a row, 5 in a row, and in order to keep yourself at the top. So we're growing, we're getting better, but hopefully we take advantage of the 2 coming up.
I'm going to add that word to my broadcast if you don't
Pistivity,
mind.
yeah, use it.
I'll cite you on it next time I use it on Thursday. How about that? So
yeah, for
quote
sure.
Coach Anderson. But this Ruse team is 5-12, and I know the record overall doesn't maybe look that great on paper, but they're 2-2 in the league.
Yeah,
They're already two league wins. You guys also 2-2 in the league. They have wins over North Dakota and Omaha, losses against South Dakota and North Dakota State. So they have also played some pretty high-level competition
right, for sure.
early on in their conference schedule. And, I mean, it's a team that, I mean, just looking purely off of a numbers perspective rather than an eye test perspective, it looks like that they're a team that kind of plays up and down maybe a little bit. But, again, a team that can really turn it on when they need to against some really high-level competition.
Yeah. And what we've learned, we're not looking at records. So, I mean, with the Wichita State game, and I think that's perfect for us. That's going to be a great reminder for this team. Like, you can't go in looking at records. You can't go in and assuming this, and just because of this, you have to go in and play. They match up well with us. You know, they're athletic. They have a post presence, but a very bouncy guard-like post presence as well. They're veterans in this conference. I mean, they don't have a whole bunch of new. They did, there are some different changes. I don't know if she's back, but they're vets, so they know exactly what to do, and they played a tough first 4 games as well. So they're going to be hungry. So we have to come out, and we're going to be at home, which that's going to be a huge advantage for us, and we get to sleep in our own beds. But we can't roll over. There's a lot of respect coming from our staff to what they've done over at Kansas City. So we have to come and play, and we're going to have to be prepared to grind it out for 40 minutes.
And you keep in mind that veteran presence that they, do bring back a lot of players. If you remember last year, they were the team that upset North Dakota State in the first round of the conference tournament.
Absolutely.
Saw you guys, of course, in that next round. But they do have some really, really good guards. And
they do.
We have her up on the screen here on my computer, Elena Contreras, and second team all-league last year, averaging 17-ish points a game. And just a guard who can really, really fill it up at times in a really tough cover.
Yeah, they're really good. And then the twins are there,
Imani and Alani.
Yes,
I remember
right,
that.
exactly.
That was a mouthful to remember.
Yeah.
I was getting both of them confused all the time.
Right, but they're just super athletic. They know this conference really well. They're competitors, they're fighters, and their ball club does a really good job utilizing their strengths and putting them in positions to do positive things for their program. So it won't be an easy week for us. They are honestly a tough matchup for us because they are very similar to us. They want to get up and down. They want to play fast as well, and they are able to do that and execute. And their guards can post up, which is very similar to Wichita State, so we got to be prepared for all of that. That's something that's a little bit different. Normally you have post players and you have guards and they stay in that, arena, but them being able to post up, that adds a different wrinkle and a different element of defense that we need to be prepared for. But great ball club, but I think we just need to focus on what we're doing, and our focus all year has just been on us. We have to be the best version of us on both ends of the floor to give ourselves a chance. And we know there's going to be roller coasters, and basketball is a game of runs, so you got to be prepared to ride that run, but then also give one right back at them.
Yeah, you mentioned the Twins, too. They combine for 30.5 points a game and nearly 12 rebounds a game, too. So
they're monsters.
The Bennett production,
yes.
if you will, the tandem of those two. And it's been impressive. And I know they were good last year. And I believe it's Alani Bennett is the one that's really taken a big step forward. She's nearly doubled her production in the points per game margin and averaging 7.5 rebounds this year, too. I mean, she has taken a massive leap. And those two are just, obviously they have similar playing styles just because, hey, they're twins.
Yeah.
And they know how to play together because they've been doing it all their life.
And one of them's a little more guard oriented, and one of them is a little more post oriented, but both guards. So, which could be, a tough matchup for us. But I believe it's Imani. She can post, and then she can take you off the dribble. She can shoot the three. So, they're tough. They're going to be a difficult matchup. And then they have, a point guard that can get downhill. They have good pace, good transition, but then they have a good post presence as well with people that's coming off the bench. So they will be a tough matchup. It won't be easy, and they're gonna make us work, and we're not afraid of work. So we'll be ready to go. We'll be prepared. So excited about the challenge coming up.
Here's a jarring stat between those two. Between Alani and Amani, one of them has 71 3-point attempts. The other has 0.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your point.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of them plays like a guard, one of them doesn't. So
exactly.
that is a good forecast.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Yeah.
But that'll be a good one on Thursday,
Connor.
and you can take my job. How about that?
No.
And then on on Saturday, rather, you guys host Omaha as well. It's Star Wars night, the annual I feel like we have Star Wars night every year for every sport, which, it's kind of fun.
Is it? I don't know.
Are you not a Star Wars guy?
No, not at all.
Really?
No, not at all.
Have you ever seen any of them?
No.
Wow.
That's just not my vibe.
That's not your vibe?
No, it's not.
What is your vibe then? Movie series?
Wins. Oh, movie. Okay, hold on. Movies.
That's also a good answer.
I'm more of a heist type. There
Okay.
were like Oceans.
Okay.
Oceans 3. I loved Italian Job. I kind of, they're trying to steal something, trying to go in and, take back something. That's my kind of movie. A thriller, but yeah, not Star Wars.
No Star Wars?
Sorry, Star Wars fans.
Well,
Are you a Star Wars fan?
I like Star Wars. I'm not like a super
Die
Star
Hard.
Wars fan, but I
Force
like
be
it.
with you.
I feel like I haven't met very many people who aren't Star Wars, but if you've never seen it at the same time,
that's not me.
That's also fair. But
I know.
But that'll be
Probably lost a lot of fans on that one.
Maybe, I don't know.
May get some hate
That's
mail.
all you. That's all you.
Yeah, no, it's all on you. You're gonna leave me on my own, man, Connor.
You're gonna have to dress up as Darth Vader on the sidelines.
Absolutely
on
not.
Saturday.
I won't.
So two big ones coming up at the Baby Center for your squad this week on Thursday and Saturday. Should be fun and two really good opportunities to get 2 good wins at home as well. But Coach, as always, thanks so much for giving us the time. And
thank you.
It's been fun to watch your team progress and grow and hopefully get a little bit healthier over the next couple of weeks, which
I hope so.
Always helps you out. But should be a fun week.
Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Come out and support us.
Yeah, 7:00 on Thursday and 2:00 on Saturday, both tip times for that. You can catch both of those games on the ORU Sports Network. So that's Coach Sophie Anderson. We'll have Coach Corey Barnett coming up in just a few minutes. We're here at Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale until noon. So come out and check us out. The ORU Basketball Coach Show rolls on after this.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them.
That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC. Looking for delicious fried and rotisserie chicken? Look no further than Waldo's Chicken. Our Southern-style scratch-made sides are the perfect complement to our mouth-watering chicken. With dine-in, drive-through, and catering options, we got you covered for all occasions. Let us handle your next fundraising event, team lunch, or family gathering with our full-service catering options. Enjoy all your favorite sports with lots of TVs, and don't miss out on our daily food and drink specials each week. With 2 convenient locations at Broken Arrows, Tiger Hill Plaza, and 71st and Yale. Waldo's Chicken, the best fried chicken in Oklahoma.
Family owned and operated since 1969, the Don Thornton Automotive Group is driven to make car buying easy and your ownership experience exceptional. Tulsa's choice for performance and luxury. Audi Tulsa, Don Thornton Cadillac, Land Rover Tulsa, Don Thornton Volkswagen, and Lexus of Tulsa. Visit any of their dealerships on Memorial in Midtown or online at DonThorntonAuto.com.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back into the ORU Basketball Coaches Show here at Waldo's Chicken on Yale and 71st. We're here for another half hour until noon, so come check us out as we have the head coach of the men's basketball program, Corey Barnett, joining us here on the ORU Sports Network. And Coach, as always, thanks so much for carving out some of your time on, of course, always a busy Monday, but getting ready for another big week in conference play, and, of course, a big game last Saturday, too, and one that was very, very tightly contested, and we'll get into that. But first, we have to address the elephant in the room, and it's not what you think, I hope, but it is – Kurt Signetti is going to the national championship game.
Yes, he is.
Indiana Hoosiers are going to the national championship in football.
In football.
I can't fathom that.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm rooting for them, but I just can't fathom that.
I can't either. Trust me, I was there for 5 years, and it was not an awesome 5 years of football. But I mean, what he's done, I know I've already mentioned the show before, but it's incredible. I think he's potentially the best coach in the country, regardless of sport, regardless of level. I think what he has done in that and the way that he's done it with the confidence level that he's done it has been pretty special.
He finally cracked a smile post-game against Oregon.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, I understand, you're on to the next one, but, I think you could, take 5 minutes and, look around and enjoy it a little bit.
Enjoy it a little bit,
and
yeah.
I'm glad he was able to do that. That was a unreal performance against the Ducks. I know Max doesn't want to hear that, or Reed.
No,
he doesn't want to hear that.
Neither of them want to hear it.
But we'll move on for their sake. But we just had to get that out of the way. Indiana is going to the national championship game in football. What is life? But anyway.
What is life?
You guys come off a tough game on Saturday against St. Thomas, and one where you guys were, I'll just say, pretty severely shorthanded and that one missing 2 starters. And honestly, and Tom and I talked about it on the broadcast at a pretty, lengthy time. We were really, really impressed with the effort that the guys that you did have available gave. And I know Connor got off to a really hot start, and that was awesome to see, and him just being as aggressive as I think we've seen him be all year, which was really, really good. And then you get 18 minutes out of Chase Martin, who I thought played some pretty quality minutes. You get 29 out of Martin's Killips. Of course, you get another quality start from Cal Furnish in 33 minutes. And just the overall effort from guys who normally don't have their number called to the, amount that they did on Saturday rose to the occasion. I know you guys fell short, but I think the effort clearly was there.
Yeah, I mean, our guys did not like that whatsoever. I thought our mindset was in the right spot. We're inching closer and closer to the team that we want to be and have the approach that we want on a nightly basis. And would we love to be there? Yes. And do we wish we were there, especially on January 12th? Of course. But I think with a lot of whether it be the season ending early on with Lane or most recently guys, whether it be Ofrey missing a few and then obviously Udo and Ty out for our last one, it's been different guys, but regardless, it's getting a lot of our young guys a lot of experience. They're laying the foundation for what is to come, and I'm proud of the effort that they gave. We need to continue to grow in a lot of different areas, which obviously starts today in practice, but overall, as I went back and watched the film, I can't fault our guys' level of effort and level of physicality and how much they gave. And like I said to them in the locker room after the game, we were mentally and physically exhausted as a staff and as a team. And that's what it should look like. And you go back-to-back games against the 2 top picked and currently ranked teams in our league, one on the road, one at home. I thought we gave both those teams a really good 40 minutes of effort and physicality. And then now it's about taking that next step, because those are games that we not only want to win, but we expect to win. And that's the standard that we're going to hold ourselves to on a daily basis. And that's where it starts.
You mentioned back-to-back games against right now the 2 top teams in the league at preseason and currently. And what do you think your team has learned from said experience over the last week? Because not many teams in the league have gotten to experience what you guys have had to experience to open up conference play.
Yeah, I mean, I think we obviously had a tough 3 games to start with the North Dakota trip, and then obviously come home and play St. Thomas. But at the same time, like, that's what you want. You want to go against that level of standard and what those teams have been able to do in the past, and they know this league well. And for our guys to be able to get that experience, obviously, we'd love it to do it with the full roster, sure, but that's not going to be every single game. Adversity is going to hit, and our guys know that. We've discussed it from day one, and I think I was really proud of some of the younger guys and the minutes that they gave. And overall, the biggest thing for us is I think we're getting to the right shots. We need to be able to make them at a consistent clip. So there's a lot of levels to that. It's obviously getting in the gym and getting a lot more reps, which our guys have done over the weekend and even to start this morning. But it's also our conditioning level needs to continue to go up. We're playing at a very fast pace with the lower roster now, but we need to be able to play at that pace because that's what we want to be, and that's what we want our identity to be. And even with that fatigue, especially second half, we have to be able to make those shots at a consistent rate and work hard to get them. I thought for this game was our first game where we worked hard to get shots for 40 minutes. We didn't start to settle, but now it's about consistently making them at the clip we need to be able to be the efficiency team that we want to be on the offensive end.
I got 2 things for you here off of that answer, and I agree with you. I don't think you guys really settled for really any shots you took, even down the stretch when they weren't going in. All of them were
Agreed.
Quality looks.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I mean, going back to your playing experience too, you mentioned the fatigue and mentally fighting through it rather than physically fighting through that. What does that look like as a player, and what kind of mental fortitude does it take to get through that kind of tough stretch in that second half where your legs feel like they got a 100-pound weight strapped to your ankles and you got to still keep fighting against the top team in the league?
Yeah, I mean, it starts in the weight room with Earl Hamilton. He does an incredible job with our roster and has continued to. A lot of it is you have to be able to push yourself to that point consistently in practice. And unfortunately, our guys didn't listen enough early on to get to that point, and now they have for weeks straight. And it takes time to be able to perform at that level, to have that level of edge and physicality and demeanor and urgency and intentionality on every single defense possession, then also do it on the offensive side of the ball, and then do it for the whole second half. And that's a part of it for our guys. When we start off, we've had really good starts the last 2 games against 2 top opponents when we're fresh, but now it has to be when we're tired. You can't give into that, and it's easy to, and your mind tells you to, your body tells you to, but the ones who are elite and they're able to win consistently are the ones that push through that point and break through. And our guys are getting closer and closer to that. We just need to get to that consistency level.
I think Connor Dow is a guy that does a really good job of fighting through that, especially mentally. And I know he was in a Big 12 program for the last 2 years. And anytime you're in a program at that level, I mean, they're going to push you to the absolute limit. And,
no doubt.
I mean, he's grown to be used to that, right?
Yeah.
And I think we saw that down the stretch too. And I know he got off to a hot start. They made some changes, St. Thomas did, defensively on him, which, of course, is going to affect any player. But I felt like for the entire 34 minutes that he was in the game, I mean, he was flying 100 miles an hour. And that was something that I really thought, making shots or not, kept you guys in it.
No doubt. And I thought his gravity changed a lot of their coverages, and now they have to be hugged up to him a lot more, which opened stuff up for whether it be Luke or whether it be Ofri or whether it be Cal. I thought it opened up a lot of the rest of the court. I think it would have opened up a lot more for a guy like Udo and not having his gravity to be able to go towards the paint once they're getting hugged up to Connor was something that we needed to be able to adjust to better than we did individually and collectively as a team and a staff. So it's an area that we know we're going to need to continue to get better at because I think with who he is, his gravity can be utilized at a super high level, and it changes the way teams got to guard you and where they are at in the court. It opens up gaps, and with some of our guys who are dynamic, whether they get downhill through the drive, whether it be our guards or our bigs with the way that they roll, it's areas that we have to hit consistently to put pressure on the defense at a high level right away in possessions, then over and over and over again as we get to the second or third side.
You guys did a really, really good job of taking care of the basketball on Saturday, and I know that's been a point of emphasis to improve on, and I think we've seen that steady improvement over the last 4 or 5 games now, the average just going down and down and down.
Yeah.
What did you like about your team's decision-making with the basketball on Saturday, and how were they able to take such good care of it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about earlier as a staff, we're a positive assist turnover in league play, and that's where we wanted to be. It was a major issue for us in the non-conference, and we knew a little bit of that was opponent. We've faced a lot of
For sure.
whether it be high major opponents, but overall athletic turn you over type teams, and we didn't always handle that the right way. And I thought it prepared us for league play to be able to handle it at the rate that we needed to, and the emphasis has been there. The guys done a good job playing off 2 feet, having ball security, valuing the ball more. It's still an area where we need significant growth, and there's guys who can cut down on especially certain levels, types of turnovers. But I think that side of the ball or that area of our game has really improved. Now that the second part of that, the other part of raising our shot value is we have to offensive rebound at a higher rate, and I think we have the guys to. They play hard enough. It's just the discipline of when that shot goes up, there has to be movement on the shot. We want triples. We want three guys crashing and a guy getting back, and the shooter sticks his shot with shot discipline. And we're just not getting that at the rate that we need to, and it needs to be something that continues to improve as we head back on the road.
Well, you guys did a really nice job defensively on Nolan Minasali, preseason player of the year. He led the country in 20-point games coming into Saturday. He held to 9.6 rebounds. He had 3 personal fouls on top of it. And we said on the broadcast that Ofri Neve is probably one of the better defenders he's seen all year.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that come to fruition on Saturday night. I think he did a really good job on him.
He did. Yeah, I think our guys as a whole did a good job at getting the gaps and taking him away and frustrating him in the right way. And unfortunately, it allowed some of the other guys to shake loose. Coach has done an incredible job with that roster. I mean, obviously the 23, the lefty. I mean, he does a really good job of getting downhill, and they put pressure on you, and they fight for really, really elite shots consistently. And that's the team, in my opinion, that we've faced that is the best offensively for fighting for great shots, whether it be getting to the paint, playing off 2 feet, and pivoting, and how they cut, how connected they are, and they have some dudes. I mean, I had 23 and 0, and obviously Minasali is one of the best players in our league. So, but if you can shut his water off and you have 2 other guys step up and find a way to beat you, that's the marks of a really, really good basketball team, and they are that, and that's where we need to get to.
You mentioned number 0, Isaiah Johnson-Arrigu. He's a guy who's really starting to come into his own in conference play. He had 17 points. It was kind of a weird night for Ryan Dufault as well. He had double figures, which is something he doesn't normally do.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting to see. So there were some weird aspects to the game, and I think it kind of balances out with Minasali having 9 and, just kind of the overall makeup of their roster. We talked about Ofri's defense. He played well offensively, too. 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists for him. And feel like we're starting to see that consistency of a stat line out of Ofri over the last, almost month now. Post concussion, I think he's been really, really productive on that end.
Yeah, no, I love what Ofri's bringing with his edge. I think he continues to make strides on the offensive end as well, and I know that he's beating himself up over the missed free throws, and he was in the gym with my 4-year-old for a long time after the game, shooting free throws in our practice gym. But that's what you want. I mean, to be honest with you want guys who take that level of ownership and what it looks like to win, and they don't just take anything for granted. They hate losing, and that's what it takes to be able to break through that wall that we're getting close to breaking through. And to have a guy like him, a leader who owns it in that way and holds himself to an elite standard on a daily basis, it brings others along with him. And the more guys form into that type of guy who just give everything they have, 3 letters in front of their chest, we're going to move into a really good spot here pretty soon.
He's had 30 points in the paint in that game as well, which is a really, really good number against some of the interior players that they have and just the overall talent on St. Thomas's roster. So we'll move on to Wednesday's game at Denver. So another road test for you guys here early on before you come home for 3 straight, which is always nice in conference play. But
that sounds nice.
It does sound nice. But Denver is kind of in a similar spot to where, you guys are. First-year head coach, new staff, a lot of new players on that team, and kind of a new makeup. They score a lot, but they also give up a lot.
Yeah.
Your overall thoughts of what the Pioneers have done this year, and they've given some pretty good teams a run for their money.
Yeah, second best offense in our league behind St. Thomas. He does a really good job, especially on the offensive end. Brought some guys with him. Obviously, 20 is their guy who's been with him and has that experience and has that edge to him, and so he has a little bit of continuity in terms of he's coached some of these guys prior, and they got to his system right away. Teams have obviously attacked him on the defensive end, and that's an area that they're continuing to grow and give you different types of looks. But he does a really good job of spreading you out. They have at a minimum on the court 3 elite shot makers at all times, whether it be 20, whether it be 7, whether it be 0. And they create a lot of different types of mismatches and find out ways to exploit you. And the hardest thing going into games like Denver, St. Thomas's works for elite shots. Denver can make tough shots consistently. And those are the teams, obviously, that you need to be able to figure out a way to disrupt. If they get into a rhythm, how do we get them out of that rhythm? What does that look like? What type of covers do we send to them? And it's a group that is it's really hard to guard with the way they move the ball and the way that they're able to make shots against high-level contests.
Yeah, they are 8-11 right now overall in the year. They're 1-3 in conference play, and they've scored 87, 88, 79, and 72, which is, of course, the season low in conference play against South Dakota on Saturday. But we mentioned just kind of the elite shot making that they possess, and Tim Bergstrager, their first-year head coach, he comes over from D2 Minnesota Moorhead, and you mentioned he brings a handful of guys with him. And
yeah.
Just from your perspective, too, I know you bring over Ofri from West Virginia, but that was about it.
Right.
I mean, what is that like, having players that you can just automatically plug and play, because clearly it's worked out for them?
No, it's massive. And Ofri's a little bit different. He has continuity with me, and him and I know each other, but obviously it was Coach DeVries' system.
Course.
So I've seen it multiple times, whether it be our first year at UCLA with the way that Bryce was able to be an extension of Steve on the court, or whether Tucker DeVries last year at West Virginia was able to be an extension of his dad on the court. Having those type of guys, like 20 is for them, gets their system in right away. He's able to tell them, this is what we do. This is our standard. As small as drills and the way that you communicate, and as big as game situations and adjustments and the preparation for what it looks like when the heat's turned up. So we haven't had that this year, but we're growing into that. I think Ofri's done a great job at leading in that area, but it helps speed up your process. And I think he's implemented the way he wants to play right away. He's done a really good job. And obviously he's been a successful coach at every spot that he's been at. So I think he has a bright future in this industry as a coach, but his team as well. They're very difficult to guard, and he puts them in good spots to where they can get to the shots they need to get to on a consistent basis.
Yeah, Coach Bergstrager was 75 and 22 in 2 seasons.
That's not bad.
3 seasons. No, it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
3 tournament appearances, a Sweet 16 appearance. I mean, I know people like to discredit D2 and D3 basketball, but I feel like at the end of the day, you can't really do that because there's dudes everywhere.
Winning at every level is really hard, really, really hard. And obviously, especially as whether it be this level or D2 level or NAI level or D3 level, it doesn't matter. You have an opponent on the other end who is just as invested and working their butt off to be able to find ways to get wins. And he did a great job early on there. And he's got Denver started off in the right way, because it hasn't historically always been an elite basketball program. They've kind of gone up and down. And so I think he took over and implemented right away what he wants. And they've had another 1-3 in league play, but they won their one home game. They're very, very, very good at home. And they lost three really tough road games. Their guys fought like crazy in all three. And you know what you're going to get with them every night. You're going to get an elite offensive team. You're going to get a team that plays really hard. And so it makes it for a tough cover.
And Carson Johnson's the man who leads them in scoring, 17 a game, and 41% from three as well. You mentioned the tough shot-making guys that they possess, and I think he's the headliner in that.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. We got multiple dudes shooting 40, and one of the guys that shoot 50 who's one of the top in the country. And then their center, 32, he's leading the entire country in effective field goal, and just doesn't miss very often. He's not.
No, 77%. That's not bad.
77% is not bad. We'll take that. But yeah, they do a really good job at fighting for their most efficient shots, and it's an area where they know where they want to try and get to, and we have to do the best job we can to try and disrupt that.
So they give up 84.9 points per game, and as a staff, when you look at that, how can you go about exploiting that? I know they've have put 4 games together now on tape in summer league play, and of course some like opponents, i.e. St. Thomas, put up 92 on them just the other week. So what sticks out about their defensive scheme, and where do you think your strengths offensively can really hurt them?
Yeah, I mean, it's not as much about trying to exploit what they do. It's trying to maximize what we do. And I think we've gotten to spots, and we just haven't made shots at the clip that we do. So we need to hunt great more in terms of the same shots that we're getting, but we also need to fight for the easy ones. We got to get more layups. We got to get more advantages on downhill drives. We have to, obviously, the most frustrating part of the St. Thomas game is you miss 10 free throws. 3 of those are the front end of 1-on-1s, and you lose the game by 11 points with fouls. Really, it's about a 7-8 point game. You make those free throws, you put yourself in a whole different position. That's something that we've worked very hard at and prided ourselves on and talk about all the time. So it's something that it wasn't easy for our guys to be able to handle that type of loss in the way that we lost it, but it's an area that we need to really focus in on and improve here. And I told the guys, I'll enter that locker room any day, anytime. Like with the way those guys fought, with how much they gave for each other, with the sacrifice level, with the willingness to be to leave everything out there for 2 hours. That's the group that I want to coach consistently. And if we do that, breakthrough is coming, and it'll come in a real way.
I know a message of aggressiveness that you guys have put upon on your team is Cal Furnish.
Yeah.
And when he has the open shot, take the open shot. When you have the driving lane, take the driving lane. I think we saw a little bit more of that on Saturday from him. Of course, he got another opportunity to start. And I mean, the kid could shoot it. I mean, he's got a good looking stroke. And of course, he hit that big 3 down the stretch as well in the second half. And I mean, how have you seen him kind of grow? I know he's a true freshman, and I know more times than not he's a little bit undersized, but it seems like you're starting to see that aggressive nature come out of him when he's got the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I think him and Martins and Luke and Barron, I mean, you have a lot of youth out there. I mean, even Ofri is a sophomore basketball-wise. So it's just you have a lot of guys getting a lot of really valuable experience for how we want to build this thing in the future. And as we go down, not only in the next seasons, but especially this season, as we get down to when it gets cutting time in February and March, and our guys are getting tougher. Cal has done a really good job at finding ways to maximize his gravity and be a heady point guard with also finding ways to be more aggressive. And I think for him, we saw it a lot in the offseason. He would have weeks where he would ebb and flow. He would just kind of be out there being very efficient and not making mistakes, but not utilizing what he's great at enough. And then he'd have weeks where he was really, really pressing, putting his foot on the gas and doing a really good job at maximizing that gravity. And that's the one that we need to get to more as a staff. We need to figure out how to get him there. But also Cal needs to take that approach on a daily basis. And I was proud of the defensive edge that he had to him. And now both, whether it be him or Jack or whoever, that they have a very tough defensive assignment regardless, whether it be 20, whether it be 7, whether you're switching on to 0, whatever, no matter what that looks like, we're going to be put in really tough physical spots that they need to be able to step up and have an edge to them. And obviously that needs to increase as we take our team on the road at Denver.
And defensively, I mean, coming into Saturday, you guys are giving up 67.8 points per game over the last 7 games. Now, that's not including, of course, the 82 on Saturday night. But again, the defense has been just a steady improvement over the last month and a half, really, at this point. And I mean, how far do you think that can take you in conference play and benefit you overall? Because, again, there's a lot of teams like Denver that like to get out and run. They like to put a lot of points on the board. And your guys' defense has really kind of shut that down for some teams.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a group where it's just we have 4 or 5 shut your water off elite defenders who are just going to go one-on-one in ISO. It's a lot about how we are as a team, how we are in gaps, how active we are, how we cover for each other, our anticipation level, how we read and react versus different coverages, and how we cover for each other on an elite level. And I think the one area that we have to continue to improve on is we're not getting enough of the edge in the 50-50 balls, and we're not getting enough of the edge on when it goes up on the glass. And I think if our defensive rebounding rate goes up, this team's going to be a problem. But that's one area where we have enough athleticism and height and length and positional size where we need to be able to be that team that dominates with how we attack the glass and the offensive defensive edge. And it's an area that we need to make a major jump if we want to get to where we want to get to.
Now, I know you're locked in over the weekend, but something happened that I didn't think was possible, and that's Michigan losing at home to Wisconsin.
Okay, that's where you went in the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm starting.
Okay,
in the Big Ten.
I was gonna say, didn't think that's where you're going to end.
But I know we had the conversation a couple weeks ago about who's your number one team in the country. I said bar none Michigan, and
they needed it. They needed it. They like
right.
I haven't seen Dusty's comments or anything yet, but Michigan started playing a different way than they have been, and they needed that edge, and this will make them stronger.
Well, they survived a close one at Penn State a few games earlier too. They only won by 2 against the Nittany Lions, who they're missing one of their leading scorers, and they gave Purdue a dogfight on the road at Mackey on Saturday as well, which I thought was really, really impressive. So now I guess we can put that debate to rest. I think Arizona is probably your bar none number one team in the country.
They're the bar none number one team in the country. I unfortunately, as an Indiana fan, I still have Michigan.
All right, I'm going to ask you. AP poll comes out in approximately, I think, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Where is Nebraska going to be, and why is it in the top 10?
It's in the top 10 because Fred Hoiberg has built a really good program and great team. They can really score the basketball. I mean, watching that Indiana game, I thought they just never flinched whatsoever. It didn't matter how many shots Indiana made. Like Indiana comes out of the half already up 9, hits a massive 3. Could be an area where you start to flinch, start to take bad shots, take hero ball, and their maturity level and how they continue to lead into who they are in the offensive defensive end has been very impressive to watch. So they're a legit top 10 team, and he's done a really, really good job. And I know that they aren't satisfied whatsoever, and that as long as they continue to grow and become more connected, I think they have a bright future ahead of them. And everybody talks about the one piece that I keep hearing elite Hall of Fame coaches talk about is Sam Hoiberg. When you have guys on your team that have that type of edge, who can be a coach in the court, regardless how much you score, it creates a whole different advantage for you.
It's really incredible what he's able to do. He's my size,
right?
And obviously way more athletic, but it just
you're a decent athlete, right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, probably not.
Sometimes
I'm a radio guy.
I've seen you shoot. It's not a bad jumper.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's got a little rust on it, but we're still dusting it off.
Midwest-ish.
A
little
bit.
Not quite Indiana, but it's fine.
No, definitely not Indiana.
No.
But I mean, I was sitting there and I think it was what's his name? They're a really good 3-point shooter in Indiana. He hit an and 1 3 to go up 16, and I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to tell Corey pregame to say something to Darian and be like, come on, dude. Like, you really had to end this streak that's going on.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you really had to
Lamar
do it.
Wilkinson's one of the more special players in the
That's
country.
his name,
He's elite.
Yeah, he was going crazy. But we'll close the book on Husker talk right there. I had to get it in there. I had to get it in there. They're 16-0. Come on.
We'll end Husker radio as of right now.
Exactly, right. So I'll let you off the hook because our time is just about up here at Waldo's Chicken. But Coach, as always, thanks so much for the time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Looking forward to what should be a pretty good game on Wednesday night in Denver. So
good trip to Denver. Let's go to 4,500 feet, 5,000 feet,
5,280.
5,280. Reno is 4,500
feet.
Thank God it's not 7,200 like Wyoming.
Yeah, that was
I don't
crazy.
miss those trips.
Yeah, no. I looked up at Alex Kudo and Lehman McGrady doing stairs during shoot around. I was like, I'm glad I am not them.
It's not what you want.
No, that is not what you want. Shout out Earl Hamilton for making
Shouts to Earl.
But again, appreciate the time. Appreciate everybody tuning in to yet another installment of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. We'll be here next week on Monday. Once again, 11 a.m. to noon from Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale. And, of course, men with a big game at 8 o'clock Central at Denver as they're back on the road in Summit League play. So we'll talk to you again on Wednesday night. But until then, this has been the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. Thanks so much for making us part of your Monday morning.